Today's big news comes from Hyundai. They're giving us an all-new Santa Fe. If that surprises you, it should, because the Santa Fe has only been on sale in this generation for about 2 years in the US. Things are a little bit complicated, so let's talk about what's going on underneath the skin. On the outside, we're getting a new front-end look, we're getting a new back-end look. We're getting a revised version of the same interior. So a lot of the interior components are the same, but they're getting more premium touches on the inside. Some of the hard plastics are being swapped out for more premium plastics. We get a new center console, new infotainment system, new instrument cluster as well. Under the hood, we're getting new engines, including new hybrids, and depending on where you're watching this around the world, possibly a plug-in hybrid as well. Making things a bit more complicated, underneath all of that, we get a new platform. Now the Santa Fe is riding on the same platform as the Sonata and the Kia Sorento as well. And that seems to be logically the reason that Hyundai has made such a drastic change so soon in the Santa Fe's life, is that they released the new Sonata, we have the new Kia Sorento coming up, and they wanted the Sorento and the Santa Fe probably to share a few more components. They also wanted the Santa Fe to support the new hybrid system, and the rumor mill says that it wasn't ready to do that in its previous generation. You'll notice that we're looking at European photos right now. You can tell by the license plate right there. That's because there are a lot of things we don't know about the North American market Santa Fe just yet. Hopefully we will know that in a few weeks when we start getting information about the version that we're going to get here. It appears that they're going to be launching the Santa Fe first in Europe, and that's why we have more detailed information there. The engines are probably going to be somewhat similar, but we are told not to expect the plug-in hybrid in the US. So it's just going to be the hybrid model, turbocharged models, possibly even a high-performance turbocharged engine. That engine will probably be borrowed from the Sonata N-Line, so we may be getting the same 8-speed dual-clutch transmission that we see in that model. The first thing you'll notice about the new Santa Fe is that the front end is definitely much bolder. And I think that the divorced headlamp look, or the separated headlamp look, whatever you want to call it, stacked headlamp look, definitely works a lot better in this design than it did the previous generation Santa Fe. I think that has to do with the fact that the headlamps are now more integrated with the grille, so it makes the grille look incredibly wide, but some of that is the headlamp and some of that is the grille itself. The grille has also been redesigned, so this is not the same shape that we see in the Hyundai Palisade. Moving to the rear, you can see we have some T-shaped motifs going on in these tail lamp modules. They mimic what we've seen in some of the other Hyundai vehicles on sale in North America. And back to the headlamp for a moment, I have to say I'm seeing a little bit of Volvo somehow in these headlamps, only turned about 90 degrees. So rather than the Thor's hammer being sideways, now it is a little bit more upright. Moving inside, you'll notice that the overall design is pretty similar to the 2019 and 2020 model year vehicle. We're told that some of the materials have been upgraded, however. So while they're the same shapes, they may not be made out of the same material. We're told to expect more premium materials, especially if you get the absolute top-end version of the Santa Fe, something that was missing in the current generation. Remember that the 2019 and 2020 Santa Fe fills kind of an unusual nook and cranny in the larger two-row crossover segment. It is not that much more expensive than something like a RAV4, but it's decently bigger on the inside, and it's significantly less expensive than something like a Nissan Murano or a Ford Edge or a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I suspect that with the new top-end trim options available in the Santa Fe for 2021, that price tag will probably get a little bit closer to some of those more luxurious competitors. And in keeping with that mission, we now find a large 12-inch LCD instrument cluster available and, of course, the big infotainment system in the middle of the dashboard. I have to say I'm a little bit surprised by Hyundai's decisions when it comes to infotainment screens here. They have a 12-inch instrument cluster and then a 10.25-inch infotainment screen. I kind of wish they'd been flip-flopped. I want the bigger infotainment screen with Apple CarPlay on it. That's just me personally. And I would take a slightly smaller instrument cluster. Let me know what you think about that down there in the comments section below. As you can see, the center console has been redesigned. We get a few more buttons there. Hyundai has definitely not gone button minimalist. So if you're a lover of buttons and knobs, then you will definitely find them here in the dashboard. We have Hyundai's shift-by-wire push-button shifter, and then we have a terrain management knob to the right of that. We don't know too much about what's going on under the hood of the Santa Fe just yet, but let's make some educated guesses here. It's likely that the engine lineup is going to mirror what we see in the all-new Sonata, as well as the all-new Kia Sorento. The Sorento and the Santa Fe are close cousins, but with this generation of the Santa Fe and Sorento, they're no longer doing the leapfrog approach. With previous generations of some of Hyundai and Kia's products, they've been closely related, but they haven't been exactly on the same cadence. So we would get a new Sorento, and then a few years later we'd get a new Santa Fe. And even though there was some relationship between the two, they weren't exactly the same vehicle. We're definitely going to be seeing more commonalities in terms of things under the hood and under the skin, it seems, in this generation of the Santa Fe and in the Sorento. And that does seem to be a good thing, because the Sorento, we recently found out, is getting their new hybrid drivetrain, some of their new engine technologies under the hood, and all that seems to be coming to the Santa Fe as well. So expect a new 1.6-liter turbocharged hybrid system. That should be quite interesting there. We don't know what the fuel economy numbers will be like, but expect it to compete very directly with the all-new and all-hybrid Toyota Venza. Now, the big thing to remember about the Toyota Venza is that it's not actually bigger on the inside than the Toyota RAV4. The best way to look at that is as a premium RAV4, whereas the Santa Fe is definitely larger than the Hyundai Tucson and larger on the inside than a RAV4 or CR-V. So if you want something that's a little bit bigger, a little bit roomier, but you don't want to break the bank, that's long where the Santa Fe has played, in that sort of budget mid-size two-row crossover area, and that's probably going to continue for 2021, even though we are going to be getting those more premium options and, of course, the more premium drivetrains. I wouldn't be surprised, although we have no official confirmation about this, if we will see their new 2.5-liter turbocharged engine under the hood from the Sonata N-Line. That will probably produce about 275, 280 horsepower. I think that's a pretty easy shoe-in here, since it is competing with more premium and more powerful competition. Whether or not that engine will get the 8-speed DCT that we find under the hood of the Sonata is anyone's guess. It could just be paired with the 8-speed automatic transmission that we see in other models. We're told to expect more details when this gets closer to being on sale, probably in early 2021, which means that we should know more details about this before the fall or winter of 2020. And in the meantime, be sure and stay tuned for updates on the all-new Toyota Venza, all-hybrid crossover, and of course the upcoming videos on the Kia Sorento. Just as soon as we can get our hands on one of those, we don't know exactly when that launch event will take place, thanks to the ongoing global pandemic. I hope everyone out there is being safe, and I'll see all of you later.